Yo, King of the Pit TV, signing in. Getting some movement done today, people. Going for a little breather. Couple of days off. Come today, like literally today, but I've had a little nap throughout yesterday evening. And I've woken up in the fine morning hours. And I thought, you know what, we'll camp it out. It's probably going to turn daylight in between this listen through. It's currently coming up to 4 a.m. in the morning, all right? But I've got a busy day ahead of me, and I'm happy to find some time to get around to listening to some music to start this productive relaxation session off. So one love, thank you for being with me. This one goes out to Jim. Jim recommended this on the Patreon. He's put a couple of requests through, a couple of thrash numbers. Now, don't get me wrong, I know the next one's going to be a thrash record. This, on the other hand, I don't know. I had a quick search because he referenced that it features the drummer of Slayer, so I was curious as to which one. Of course, Lombardo tends to be the first person who comes to mind, and yeah, Lombardo is in this band. I don't know whether this was from the mind of Lombardo, first and foremost, or as to whether he just joined a collaboration of sorts and created some music with some other musicians, but this is Grip Inc. And I said this when I was looking for if it was Dave in the band. I think I saw groove metal pop up, so we'll see what it sounds like. Now, it's funny because, don't get me wrong, I'm not a Slayer historian, but Slayer are definitely my favourite act out of the big four, and I've spent more time listening to Slayer than most metal bands, in all honesty, especially when I was younger. And Grip Inc., yes, might have come on the radar once, if not twice, but people don't reference this band. Alongside this, I also came across, I don't know if it was Lombardo and Hanneman back in the day, but definitely one of Hanneman's projects. Whether it was prior Slayer or if not in the early years of Slayer, I think did a hardcore punk project. Or was that in the later years? In the 90s, perhaps, if not late 80s. I don't know. But I came across another project, which was Hanneman's hardcore punk act, and it was pretty bloody good. Arguably crossover thrash, maybe in hindsight. I don't know. I've not heard it in a long while, but that was pretty cool. But with that being said, thank you for the recommendation, Jim. This is going to be a nice change, from the more songwriter adjacent music we've been listening to as of recent. So let's get back onto the music. We're back into the king of the pit territory. We should be pitting again for a minute. This one is track number 1, that's all I'm going to call it. I'm not going to do this language a disservice by, being a fool trying to state what it's called. But it might be an intro track considering it's relatively short and it's the first tune, alright? So let's go. How's everybody doing today? Pull a card for you today, yeah? 1, 2. The Ace of Wands. It means ask for my PayPal and send me a lot of money. The Phallus. The wand represents fire, energy, passion. Number 1, direction. Emphasis 1, all, God, universe. Grip Inc., the power of inner strength. I mean, we're coming into this like an industrial act, if you ask me. The artwork, I hate. I hate the artwork. I don't know what we're looking at here. I don't know what we're fine-tuned into, but it looks quite gross, don't you think? What is it? $19.95, I think this was. $19.95. $19.95, and we've got it published by Grip Inc., so I don't know if this was put out by a label, which it would be very surprising. Not a major label, at least. Right. Right, we're riffing already. We've got a tone. We've got a low register. Savage Seas, Retribution. This is essentially track number 1. Let's flip and go. Only 53k views. How is this act that features Lombardo so low in the food chain? Come on. Those harmonics. Interesting. I'm gonna have to make a comment, but that track makes me want to check out the next track. It makes me want to see where we go. That felt very held back. It felt like a bridge. That was an entire song. When I say a bridge, I mean, you know, in music, in songwriting terms, like a transitional build and, you know, due to the rhythm of the guitar, the stop and start stutter and the tom drums I associate primarily with that particular section of a song. It felt like it needed to escalate somewhere. It's funny because we're in the 90s now, and the metal guitar that plays natural plays natural harmonics like that in the riff. Bro, it's funny because Machine Head trademarked the hell out of that sound, didn't they? Let's keep going. I don't have too much to comment on. I want to see where we go. We've got Hostage to Heaven coming up next, yeah? Yes, now bless now, people. Don't forget the rest now. There's Rocksteady, King of the Pit TV, continuing onwards. Grip Inc. Hostage to Heaven. A little bit of a climb in the view count on this one in comparison to the first track of the record. Let's find out where we're going with this one. Frontman sounds a little bit British, you know. Frontman sounds like an 82. Am I thinking of a UK 82 act? Or am I thinking of a 77? There's a British London, like punk rock, hardcore punk snarl in the vocal line, you know? Sounds like crossover. That's a great riff. Let's go. Apologise for the yawn there. It's if you're just joining me now, it's 4:20 in the morning, so it's not to do with the music. That was a great step up from the first track, Savage Seas brackets Retribution. Yeah, the first song was definitely a build into this because yeah, this is where we want it to be. This is where we want it to be. Great riff. headbanger, thrasher. It's tough. It's tough. It's tough for Lombardo. It's tough for Lombardo to be the drummer of Slayer, because every project he's going to be known as the drummer of Slayer. He's not going to be known as Dave Lombardo. It's going to be like Dave Lombardo of Slayer. And being of Slayer, every other metal band is going to be within the shadow of Slayer. I mean, you can't outdo Slayer, can you? So the idea of them doing a thrash band, and the idea of them doing, you know, a less technical thrash band than Slayer, sort of still fulfilling the same, ticking the same boxes, it comes with its own troubles. And I'm not saying this is a thrash band, but that was a thrash riff. You know what I mean? So I'm fascinated to see where we go from here, and that's not to put this down, because I thought that was a banger. I did think that was a banger. I didn't like it when he went on the kicks to that riff. Just stick it with the skank. That's my flavour. You know what I mean? That's my flavour. Don't reel down the energy of that skank. I love that. I love that. That's a gas to me. We've got Monster Among Us coming up next. Let's see where we go from here. There's Rocksteady King of the Pit TV signing in. Monster Among Us is the title of this one. We're listening to Grip Inc. Power of Inner Strength is the record. It was recommended on the Patreon by my friend Jim. Thank you for joining up, Jim. Let's continue moving on, yeah? Heavy metal. Ba-ba-da-ba, ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba. Is this going to be like the first track where we're just sort of building on the toms again? Because on the first track, the introduction to this record, we had a tune where we were jamming on the toms, we had a stop and start stuttery buttery riff, and it felt like it wanted to climax somewhere, but it never did until we went to the next track, and then it was a banger. Is this frontman British? He's got like a British early punk rock tone to his voice. Let me see who fronts this band. I'll be with you in a second. You know what? He was quite hard to find. Quite an elusive character. I came across a guy called Gus Chambers who fronts this band. He looks exactly how he should look in regards to the style I was referencing. And he's from Coventry, England. So, yeah, he's a punk rocker. He is a punk rocker. The guy's got a flipping blonde mohawk. What made Lombardo get involved in this project? I do wonder. Not to put this band down, but Lombardo in the 90s could have been in any flipping metal band, right? So what introduced him to this? Pedophile. I wonder if indirectly Power of Inner Strength was influenced by Vulgar Display of Power. You know, we include the word power, we've got the same syllable. Vulgar Display of Power is 7 syllables. Power of Inner Strength is 6. Wait a minute. Vulgar Display of Power, 7. Power of Inner Strength. Right, I fucked up. Nah, I fucked up. Still, same energy, right? Same frequency we're operating in within the title. It's the right year for it, eh? Unless Vulgar Display of Power was after. I don't think it was it? Noise gate on that. Noise gate, a little bit of sound. A little bit of studio magic there on that silence in between. That was okay. That was Monster Among Us. It makes a lot more sense looking at the frontman of the band and knowing where he's from. It makes a lot more sense to me now. The energy of the band, the essence of the band. If it was an American dude, like, as I thought initially getting into this, I thought it was a little bit nu metal-y when we had the first track on. A little bit nu metal-y in the vocal performance. And a little bit, you know, 90s metal as far as like the Machine Head natural harmonics were concerned. But now seeing the frontman and actually hearing how he performs on this track, I'm starting to develop more of an identity for the band. There is a vague yet present undercurrent, a crusty energy. The idea that they've wrote a song called Monster Among Us, and I believe there was, you know, the word paedophile thrown in. We're delving into the realm of the anarcho-punk because, you know, metal music, we're not really on the nose like that when it comes to that. We tell stories as opposed to write about the reality of just like, yeah, there's a nonce and we're going to write a song about him. Do you know where I'm coming from? Metal's like, yes, necro-pedophile. Do you know what I mean? And all this and that. We've got Guilty of Innocence coming up next. Let's keep moving. There's ROCKSTEADY, King of the Pit TV signing in, listening to Grip Inc. for the very first time in my life. Guilty of Innocence is track number 5. Let's jump in, shall we? That was Guilty of Innocence. It was alright. It was alright. It was nothing special. This band has a sound that flirts between... Now, you see, this was classified as groove metal. If you search this band up online, you'll see groove metal referenced. And I think half of that is down to the tempo of the act. It's a mid-tempo act. I don't know. It feels like we've listened to 70% build-up. Like the way the song's constructed. And it's very alike some of the songwriting we get in some of the indie bands we listen to here. Some of the alternate rock bands where they have not this traditional style of songwriting, but they tell the story from A to B, and they take you from this journey from A to B throughout the track, as opposed to go through the highs and lows and the roller coaster experience. You know, you're generally force fed by pop music, for lack of better terms. It's traditional music, isn't it? Or traditional songwriting, should I say. But this band feels like we're just building up to something and we don't reach it, you know? Let's keep going. We've got Innate Infliction coming up. But my problem is with the beats Lombardo is choosing, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? Let's keep on going. Yes, now bless now, people. Don't forget rest now. There's Rocksteady, King of the Pit TV, signing in. Grip Inc. Grip Incorporated, I believe it might stand for. If not, Grip included with this He-Man action figure. I think that's what the band's actually called. grip, incubator, grip, inclusive, grip. Meh. This entire listen through goes out to Jim, who recommended this on the Patreon. Am I losing my mind? I think I am doing. This one's Innate Infliction, track number 6 of 11 on the album Power of Inner Strength. Power. I actually think that's a really cool riff. I like the way the guitars are working with each other. Was Lombardo even in Slayer at this point? I think Bostaph was on the drums around this period, what, 95? Did Lombardo leave Slayer at this point? Bruh, someone needs to give me some game on Slayer, because from the outside looking in, from the vague bits and bobs of information I've picked up over the years, I've never looked into it with depths. People say that Kerry King fucked him over, like financially speaking. But then again, Kerry King just played the game, right? Got the credits, got the royalties, established business. It is what it is, but you hear that Kerry King sort of screwed the band over. Or at least, you know, some of the members. Am I right or wrong in saying that? In the related videos, we've got Boots and Braces by Screwdriver. Some good tunes on it! Some good tunes on it! Don't tell anyone. Punk's not dead, people. Come on now. Reasonable. Really thought that was a unique riff. The usage of dissonance in that tune was good, and we're jumping straight in. Speaking of related videos, we've got Archangel, Prayers Upon Deaf Ears, 1999 full EP there. If you like metal music, check that out. Metalcore. If you like Slayer riffs, check that out. Very good. Let's keep moving. We've got Colours of Death coming up next. Yes, now bless now, people. Don't forget to rest now. There's Rocksteady, King of the Pit TV signing in. Colours of Death is the title of this one. Track number 7 of 11 on Power of Inner Strength by Grip Inc. Did you know that the ink in Grip Inc. stands for inclusive? Okay. It is Pride Month after all. So did you know every member of this band was trans? I bet you didn't know that. Now you do. Shout out to my man Jim, who recommended this record. First time I've ever listened to this band. It's been a fascinating listen, to say the least. What a cool group of musicians getting together to create an act. Come on. Shit. Seems Grip Inc. did a couple of records. We got one called Incorporated and one called Nemesis as well. Reasonable. Got into the riffs, got into the riffage. I'm happy with that. Ostracized coming up next. Yes, there's Rocksteady, King of the Pit TV, track 8 of 11 on Power of Inner Strength by the act Grip Inc. is entitled Ostracized. Did you know the ink in Grip Inc. was actually spelled incorrectly? It actually was intended to be spelled INK, because it's about gripping a biro pen, and writing a novel, as the frontman is an avid writer. But quite funny, because even though he's an avid writer, he can't spell very well, and so it looks like it means incorporated. This one's ostracized. Last tune was half decent. Let's see what this one is. Power of Inner Strength is the record. Let's flip and go, yeah? I'm losing my mind. Yo, if you like hardcore music, check out a band called Stout, yeah? I've lost my mind. Stout are fucking sick, mate. Come on now. Let's go. Proper riff. Ba ba da ba ba ba. Heavy riff, eh? Dun 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 dun. Let's go. What's that remind me of? Left out. Locked out. Who's that remind me of? Dun dun. Dun dun. Oh, it reminds me of someone. There's like bass fills in between, innit? Dun dun. Dun dun. Fuck's sake. Bam 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 bam.
Has no place for his head to lay. He is the man under the bridge, ostracized.
Quality tune, quality riff. When people tell me it's a groove metal band, they're the riffs I'm expecting. They're the riffs I'm expecting. Dun 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 dun. Dun. Come on now. Come on now. Get your little dancing shoes on. Go for a little shindig. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. That was a good riff. That was an enjoyable tune. Cleanse the flipping seed. Here, you fellas know about this one. Cleansing the old seed off of the stomach, yeah? Hey! Hey! I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not even going to talk about it. Let's go. We got track 9 of 11 coming up next. Yes, now, bless now, people. But bing, don't forget the rest now. Des Rocksteady, King of the Pit TV, signing in. As dashing as always. I can't help it, people, you know. The amount of sponsorship deals people just throw at me all the time for, you know, being on the cover of these global these major league corporate beauty and lifestyle magazines and whatnot. I turn them down though, people. Don't worry about it. I'm not signing the contract anytime too soon. But you know what I mean? I'm not anytime too soon, you know? Strike a pose, yeah? Cleanse the seed. This one goes out to the esoteric out there. This one goes out to any of my people who worship Baal. Or is it Baal? Or is it Baal? Or is it Baal? I don't give a fuck. I am just an African man. It's the 27th of June. The weekend is here, people. The weekend is every day for me. As we're talking the esoteric, this is track 911. Prepare yourself for another one as global political tensions rise. Let's go. Ooh, an imperfect cadence there, we would call that in music theory. Decent. Powerhouse of a tune. Lombardo battering those drums on that one. Powerful vocal line. Powerful riff. Although it is a riff, I wouldn't call it a riff in my sense. I would just say that guitar work was just driving the track forward. It was big, powerful wall of sound there. I like that. That was a good tune. That was a powerful sound. Yeah, definitely a 90s metal track, that one. We've got Heretic War Chant coming up, which is a badass title. Let's find out where this one's going. There's Rocksteady King of the Pit TV signing in. Power of Inner Strength. We've been doing a little bit of rambling over this one. We're enjoying ourselves. Track 10 of 11 is entitled Heretic War Chant. And this entire listen through goes out to my friend Jim, who recommended this on the Patreon. I've got no more jokes to crack, alright? Let's just jump straight into it. In the related videos, if you like... this is a UK band, but if you like metal music performed by UK punks, this is a flipping banger, mate. Sacrilege, Behind the Realms of Madness. I recommend it. It's a fucking banger, honestly. So, this band is fronted by a UK punk rocker dude. And it's a metal act, clearly. So, yeah, if you like that, check that out. If you like, I'd call it crossover, but some people would argue that it was crust punk. I don't think it's crust as much as it's crossover. From Birmingham. There's a few sacrileges, but that's the best one. And that's probably the best project they did. Come on. Sounds like Marauder.
the eyes of war.
Come on.
Behind the shadows, fill the heart. Running to find it, fill that dirt. Measure of pain, through the desire. Hot, burning seas of fire. Fighting for a useless cause. Barren land and shallow men. Have your future has come your past. The wait for dying has come at last. Fuck! No! No! World order!
Better. Decent. Oh shit. Then he gets straight into it. Straight into the next track. Decent tune. Shall we finish this record off with Longest Hate? I was going to have a little bit of a mumble and a bumble, but this playlist wants me to blast into Longest Hate, so let's do that, yeah? Yes, now blessed, now don't forget the rest. Now let's jump straight in. Longest Hate is the last track on this record. We've been listening to Power of Inner Strength by the band Grip Incorporated. This entire listen through has gone out to my good friend Jim, who recommended this. So if you're a fan of this band, if you're a fan of Lombardo and you're a fan of everything in between, don't fat me, fat my man Jim. We're going to move on to another record by Jim after this. I mean, on the YouTube, it's going to be playing alongside this anyway, more than likely, song by song by song. But if you're on the Patreon, we're going to check out Forced Entry next. So this is Longest Hate, track 11 of 11. Let's see what they've got in store. That's a Lombardo drum fill right there. Sounds like something off of South of Heaven. Sounds like something off a Dead Skin Mask.
Time to shake all your fear. Time for you to fight. Time for you to shed some blood. Break the back of the veins. The longest hate. The longest hate. Yeah.
But neighborhood segregation is the rule next door in East Cleveland and in other American cities, including Detroit, Washington, and Los Angeles, where when blacks move in, whites move out.
Separatists preaching from misinterpretation of the book. Racist breeding hate. Ignorance between the lines.
It's about racism, tribalism, division. And it's fascinating because I came across a bit of information as of recent, and I know that, there's biological impulses and, explanations, and to blame the people isn't as important in this punk rock fashion. To blame the powers that be that go out of their way to contribute to the division, right? I found an interesting... Well, I went on an interesting rabbit hole of the brain and how in our human thinking brain, we have got two hemispheres, right? In the neocortex, two hemispheres of the human brain, given that we have a mammalian brain and a reptilian brain that comes prior to that, manifest our emotion and emotional reactions and our fight and flight and freeze and... someone added a fourth one, which I found was fascinating. Fight, flight, freeze, and I forgot what word they used, but it was in regards to giving up, just like giving up, which I should remember really because it's fascinating. But I spoke on the powers that be understand this, and that's why they use the left-right paradigm, right? So like your left-wing and your right-wing politics, your Western world and your Eastern world, and there's this duality of everything that they use to create an us versus them dynamic. And the thing is, it stops us from applying an overall... It stops us from perceiving things from both sides. Because if I say I'm left wing, right, then I'm only operating with one particular hemisphere of the brain, and that's the right hemisphere of the brain that the left wing politics applies itself to. It's part of human nature, right? These political factions and groups counteract each other, and both of them are effective because both of them apply to the actual brain of the human being, right? So whereas one political party or one part of the world or one theory or social movement applies to one part of the brain, it detracts from the other. So we as human beings are left off balance, and whilst we're off balance and focusing on one thing more so than the other, or applying ourselves to one part of our nature as opposed to the other, we can be manipulated and controlled by the powers that be. And as long as they keep us divided in this sense, in ourselves, it manifests in the real world, and we divide ourselves societally speaking, and it's a means of control by the people who understand this neurological process and this deep knowledge of who we are as humans. It's crazy. I don't like division. There's a lot of it in the world right now, and it's been forced. I live in England, and you should see, it's a disgusting place to be. The division is crazy. The forced destruction of this place, the intentional destruction that is being manifest for political purpose is fucking horrible. It's horrible. And yeah, that's why I just thought I'd have a little bit of food for thought there, you know, on a deeper note. But I say that to say this, they're on about fascist Nazis and all this and that. Don't blame your fellow man. We are all but human. Blame the people who are pulling the strings. Blame the media who utilise this on a consistent basis. I went to the hospital a couple year back, yeah? Nothing major. But whilst I was in the waiting room, they had like 3 monitors on the screen just force-feeding this this endless cycle of the same like 4, if not 5 news stories. And each and every one of them was based upon divide. And the one story you get, which, you know, detracts from the politicized negativity, was one of sports. And it's like, what's sports based upon? Divide, tribalism, distraction, entertainment. It's all one big fucking theatre, man. And it's shit. It's honestly really shit. That's why I like punk rock and punk rock writing. It engages in your thought, it engages in discussion, and it's good. It's good. I'll be real with you as well. As far as like punk rock music is concerned and stuff, there's a lot of politicized lyricism, and it errs into the realm of virtue signaling a lot, right? I mean, I've spent a lot of time, you know, autistically studying and finding fascination in these bands and these live communities and so forth. And I think a lot of them are hiding. I think a lot of it is overcompensatory, because by default, if you're like a punk rocker and all this and that, you tend to be a little bit of a dingy guy. You tend to come from a background as to where it's a little bit, you know, some people come from traumatizing backgrounds and are attracted to this particular style of music, an aggressive style of music, because, you know, it's a representation of how they feel. And if you go around being an angry person, it's not a great frequency to operate on, right? But you know, there's a lot of anti-racist rhetoric and all this and that, and you look at the community, it's the least inclusive demographic you will ever see. You go to my local hardcore punk community where all they talk about stuff like this, it's all fucking white people, it's all white men. It's unbelievable how the contrast between the message and the actual reality of is represent. But this is a story for another time. Just listen to dance music. That's the real unifying music. Ba-da-da-da. How's that for an abrupt ending, huh? That was Grip Inc. Let's do one last video. I'll give you my final overview of this record as a whole, and we'll rate out of 10. See you there. Yes, now, bless now, people. Don't forget to rest now. Des Rocksteady, King of the Pit TV. signing in. We just finished this record off. It was recommended on the Patreon by my friend Jim. Thank you very much for joining up, Jim. We're going to continue on with another record after this. Jim has recommended more thrash metal adjacent record. This was entitled The Power of Inner Strength, or to be literal, Power of Inner Strength, by the band Grip Inc. 11 tracks. One of them arguably is an introductory track, so I would personally just say 10 tunes on this record. It was okay. This features Dave Lombardo of Slayer. This was in 1995. So you tell me, at this point, was Lombardo even in Slayer? I think it might have been Bostaff, right? Who was in the act at this point. I don't know. I don't know the timeline of Slayer to a T, but I think that was the case. So why Dave Lombardo left Slayer and had this project is crazy to me. I think it was for business purposes why he left Slayer, or at least at some point he left for business purposes or was in dispute for business reasons. But it's so bizarre to hear this project because it's an odd group of musicians. I don't know anything about this act. I went on Wikipedia to find who the frontman was because I was like, where's this guy from? A few tracks in, you realise he sounds like he could be British. He was attacking the vocal like, an anarcho-punk band. A British anarcho-punk band. So I thought, okay, fascinating. Let's find out what's going on here. Turns out the guy's from Coventry and he had a flipping mohawk. He had a bleach blonde mohawk. So it's self-explanatory, really, the elements and the background, or at least the uniform this guy is applying, which I felt manifest in the track, which isn't a bad thing. I prefer fucking punk rock influenced music more than metal influenced music, or punk rock influenced music as opposed to like heavy metal influenced music, should I say, because, a lot of metal music is punk at heart, right? So it was a fascinating record with quite a mix of different musical influence, which kept it fresh. There was an underlying, fabric which kept the sound cohesive. There was a sound the band had. It wasn't so all over the place that you found yourself lost and not knowing what to expect next. You kind of knew how the guitars would sound, how the drums would sound, variation as far as riffs are concerned and whatnot, but it wasn't like experimental per se. Lombardo could have been in any band, no doubt, at this point. So I'm curious as to find out why this was a project of his, because I don't think he was involved in too much external to Slayer. Am I right in saying that? I know he sort of filled in and had a couple of like appearances with other acts, but you know Lombardo from Slayer and that's it. So this was an interesting record. Did I enjoy it? I thought it was okay. I thought there was some okay moments. It was bordering on industrial at times, bordering on nu metal-esque at times, bordering on crusty metal at times, for lack of better terms. I mean, crusty metal, I wouldn't say it was a genre, but I don't want to call it hardcore and I don't want to call it crust punk. But there was, an energy that came from the record that was adjacent to that at times. My biggest issue with this was there wasn't enough drive. There was a lot of work on the toms, and even when Lombardo's performing in a in a rock manner, the guitar line and the riffing felt like it was just bumbling along in a bridge-like fashion. Speaking of the songwriting term of writing a bridge section, it felt like it was wanting to bridge from A to B, but it never reached B, really. So I have a qualm with the actual structuring of the music. I don't think the structuring was very good. I don't think the songwriting, I mean, disregarding the actual lyrical content and the vocal line, I don't think the songwriting in the instrumental sense was very good. The production was okay. It wasn't a high value production because it was quite stop and starty at times, and when I say that, I mean from a production standpoint, it was stop and starty, not from an instrumental standpoint, not from a writing standpoint. You could hear where certain songs had been cut and they had come back in. It was like that, and it was like a bit jolty as the instrumental came back in, because that it was a poor editing situation from whomever the sound engineer was. I'm not an engineer, I'm not a producer, so I can't tell you the technical terms for what I'm trying to explain, but hopefully you understand that. Best track by far was Hostage to Heaven, and that was purely because it was fresh. When I've searched online, they call this groove metal. Fair enough. It's a blessing and a curse because Hostage to Heaven was the best, and it was a thrash metal song, really. The great riff, thrash metal riff, but you're in the shadow of Slayer, really, aren't you? And you can't outshine Slayer. You can't outshine Slayer. So it was interesting. I think if Lombardo wasn't in this act, hey, who knows how it would have sounded. Even Lombardo's performance in the record, I didn't think was that good. It sounded powerful. Production of the drum, it was audacious drum kit. But his actual performance was nothing special. You know, Lombardo gets a lot of praise, and I like Lombardo. I remember when I was in high school, right? And I'd been listening to Slayer music walking back home, and Lombardo really made me want to get a drum kit and learn how to play like Lombardo. No drummer's ever done that. But just for the skank beats of Lombardo, to me, are just pristine, like my favourite style of drumming. So that's why Hostage to Heaven was the best track on the record, because he featured and included that style, which speaks to my soul. But, you know, the whole on the toms just building up to nothing just didn't really fuel me the way I wanted it to. I'd rate this record a 5 out of 10. It is what it is. It's an okay product, but as far as my taste is concerned, that's what I'm going to call it. And on that note, I'm signing out, people. That was Power of Inner Strength. We're going to move on to some proper, what I assume would be straightforward thrash now, as recommended by Jim. So I will see you there, people. Peace.